The stage of America's Got Talent in 2025 looked the same as it always did: glowing lights, massive screens, a cheering crowd, and 4 judges who had seen almost everything. Simon Cowell sat in his usual position, arms crossed, expression unreadable. After decades in the industry, surprises were rare for him. Acts came and went, singers sang, dancers danced, and Simon judged with his trademark honesty. But that night, something felt different, though no one could explain why. Backstage stood 2 siblings from the Philippines, a brother and sister named Mateo and Althea Reyes. Mateo was 16, tall but thin, with nervous hands that kept clenching and unclenching. Althea was 13, smaller, quieter, holding tightly onto her brother's sleeve like the world might swallow her if she let go. They had traveled thousands of miles to stand on this stage, but their journey had started long before airplanes and auditions, in a small coastal town where dreams were often crushed by reality. Their father had been a fisherman, waking before sunrise every day, teaching Mateo how to mend nets and Althea how to sing to the rhythm of the waves. Their mother sold food in the local market, humming old Filipino ballads while working. Music was never a luxury in their home, it was a survival tool, something that kept spirits alive when money was short and hope even shorter. At night, the siblings sang together under flickering lights during power outages, harmonizing softly so neighbors wouldn't complain. Everything changed when a powerful typhoon hit their town. The storm took their home, their father's boat, and eventually their father himself, who never returned from the sea one night. Grief settled into their lives like a permanent shadow. Their mother worked harder than ever, but illness soon followed. Music became the only thing that held the family together, especially for Althea, who stopped speaking to anyone except Mateo after their mother was hospitalized. Mateo became more than a brother. He became a parent, a protector, and a silent guardian of Althea's fragile heart. Every night, he sang to her, even when his own voice cracked with exhaustion. Althea slowly began singing again, her voice pure, haunting, and filled with emotions far beyond her age. People in their town started gathering outside their small rented room just to listen. Someone recorded a video and uploaded it online, never imagining it would reach the other side of the world. The video caught the attention of an AGT scout. An email arrived that Mateo almost deleted, thinking it was spam. When he finally read it, his hands shook. America's Got Talent wanted them to audition. The idea felt impossible. They had no money, no passports, no confidence that they belonged on a global stage. But their mother, weak yet determined, insisted. She told them that dreams do not wait for perfect conditions, and that their father would have wanted them to go. Standing on stage now, Simon asked the usual question. Who are you, and where are you from? Mateo answered in careful English, explaining they were siblings from the Philippines. Althea barely spoke, hiding behind him. Simon raised an eyebrow, already judging whether this would be another forgettable audition. He asked why they chose this song. Mateo paused, then said it was the last song their father ever taught them. The music began softly, almost too quietly for the massive theater. Mateo started singing first, his voice raw, trembling, and imperfect. Simon's expression remained neutral. Then Althea joined in, and everything changed. Her voice soared through the room, crystal clear, filled with pain, innocence, and strength all at once. The harmony between them was not polished, but it was real. It was the sound of survival. The audience leaned forward. The judges exchanged glances. Simon slowly uncrossed his arms. As the song built, Mateo's voice grew stronger, matching his sister note for note. Tears streamed down Althea's face as she sang the final chorus, and when Mateo wrapped an arm around her, the emotion in the room became overwhelming. By the final note, the theater was completely silent. For a moment, no one moved. Then the audience erupted. A standing ovation shook the room. Heidi Klum wiped her eyes. Sofia Vergara covered her mouth in shock. Howie Mandel stood up, clapping wildly. Simon remained seated for a second longer, staring at the siblings like he had just witnessed something he didn't understand yet but knew was extraordinary. Simon finally stood. When he spoke, his voice was unusually soft. He said he had heard thousands of sibling acts, but never one where the connection felt this deep and this honest. He admitted that he had expected very little when they walked out, and that they had proven him completely wrong. Then came the twist no one expected. Simon asked Mateo why he looked so tense even after the applause. Mateo hesitated, then revealed that this performance was not just an audition. Their mother was watching from a hospital bed back home, battling a severe illness, and this was the first time she had seen them sing since being hospitalized. If they failed, Mateo said, he feared it would crush her spirit. The room fell silent again. Simon walked toward the golden buzzer without saying a word. The siblings froze, unsure of what was happening. When Simon slammed the buzzer, golden confetti exploded into the air. Althea screamed in disbelief. Mateo dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. The audience roared louder than ever. But the story didn't end there. Backstage interviews revealed another shocking detail. The song they performed was originally written by Mateo during nights spent outside the hospital, never meant to be shared. He had almost backed out minutes before going on stage, afraid the emotions would overwhelm them. A producer had to convince him that vulnerability was their strength. As the season progressed, the siblings became a global sensation. Their performances grew stronger, but the challenges intensified. Their mother's condition worsened, forcing Mateo to consider returning home. Althea struggled with anxiety, afraid that fame would take away the simple bond she shared with her brother. Rumors spread online, critics questioned whether their success was built on sympathy rather than talent. Then came the semifinals. Hours before their performance, Mateo received a call that their mother had passed away. The producers offered to pull them from the show. The judges told them they could step away with no consequences. After a long silence, Althea made the decision. She said they would sing, because their mother had always told them that music was how they spoke to the world. Their semi-final performance was unlike anything before. They sang without instruments, their voices echoing in the massive theater. The pain was raw, almost unbearable to watch. Even Simon looked shaken, his eyes glistening as the final note faded. The audience cried openly. Millions watching at home felt the weight of that moment. They advanced to the finals, not because of pity, but because people recognized something rare. In the finale, they didn't win first place. They placed second. But something bigger happened. Simon personally offered to help fund their education and support their musical journey. Record labels reached out. More importantly, they inspired millions of families around the world. The final twist came months later when Simon invited them back for a special performance. Before they sang, he admitted that their audition had changed how he viewed raw talent. He said that perfection was nothing without truth, and that these siblings reminded him why music mattered in the first place. The siblings returned to the Philippines not as celebrities, but as symbols of hope. They built a small music school in their hometown, teaching kids who had lost everything that their voices mattered. Mateo and Althea continued singing, not for fame, but to honor the family that shaped them. This was not just a golden buzzer moment. It was a reminder that sometimes the most powerful voices come from the quietest places, and that even the hardest pain can create something beautiful.